DC. Yes, still.
Do you really still have a problem with DC as like a concept? That is so 2010s.
You forgot 33 seconds ago when you made me start reading.
So I went into this video fully expecting Jeremy to just say reading and give it a sin like he used to do, but he actually manages to find a pretty decent way to spice this joke up, so here's a sin-off.
Insinuating that Rocket Raccoon fathered Superman.
This actor has been in more than one movie. That's a sin.
Malik Ali, a local.
But his driver's license says Delaware. So remind me again, what city in non-existent Delaware we are in right now?
Metropolis. We're in Metropolis. And if you, for some reason, have some kind of a problem with Metropolis being in Delaware, then keep in mind that this has been a thing in the comics for a good while at this point.
This terrible spiral. All right, Green Bay colors. I see what you're doing.
Jeremy says this, but the Packers have actually been doing really well this year. I'm writing this about a week after they just annihilated the Vikings, so they're not some kind of easy target anymore. Trust me, as a Steelers fan, I know what a struggling football team looks like. I'm not sure how much of my audience is going to get this reference, because there's generally not a lot of crossover between football fans and people who watch YouTube videos about movies, so I'm curious what the reaction to this is going to be like.
So we're going to lock up all metahumans now.
Well, that line has certainly aged interestingly after the finale of Peacemaker Season 2.
And I placed him against a cactus.
A cactus. So, torture.
Lois will make a whole lot of good points here about Superman unilaterally deciding to physically intervene in conflicts, and the movie will decide to never wrestle with it again, because good guy's good, bad guy's bad.
You know, as much as I love this movie, I'm gonna have to agree with Jeremy on this one. They really don't address this idea at all, except for this one line.
People were going to die!
David Corenswet is perfect as Superman, and this movie gets the character better than we've seen in quite a while. Excuse me, while I fly around the earth in reverse for a bit to subtract a sin.
Yes, you are correct to make that decision.
Maybe sometimes people catch you reading it and looking very upset.
Okay, well, you can't use that.
These two are great, but the fact that they are actually recording this exercise is dangerous and irresponsible, and Lois should know better, considering everything about it screams that they are in a relationship and is a conflict of interest.
I mean, the logical conclusion to make is that Lois almost definitely had the recording deleted after this.
It's an awfully small distraction.
Stealing the lines of my college girlfriend.
It'll get bigger.
Stealing the lines of my college self.
Normally, these are the kinds of sins that I would just say cool about and move on, but this actually made me laugh, so I'll take off a sin, why not?
The Justice Gang has arrived on the scene.
The Justice Gang has arrived on the scene.
Yes, that is the line that was just said. Good job, I guess.
Just another day in the life of the Justice Gang.
Not our name, it's just a working name.
This running joke about the Justice Gang branding is nowhere near as funny as James Gunn or this movie thinks it is.
I mean, it's not the most laugh-out-loud thing I've ever heard, but it's inoffensive enough, and it does lead to a pretty funny payoff at the end with the exchange between Guy and Metamorpho about it.
28 of the world's top linguists have confirmed the translation, and 30 of the top forensic computer techs.
Just to be clear, Lex recovered the footage, flew back from f***ing Antarctica, and got 20 of the world's top linguists and 30 of the top forensic computer techs to confirm its validity in a day? And we know the timeline since Lex confirmed he had set up the distraction for Soups the night before. Not to mention he then got a news program to get him on the air and interview him without having time to confirm all this data themselves. Honestly, that last part is sadly probably accurate.
This is Lex fucking Luthor we're talking about. The guy who expends as much of his energy and resources as humanly possible into trying to take down Superman. So I have absolutely no trouble believing that he could pull this off.
Any chance they're mistaken?
Unfortunately, no.
You have the footage?
Movie has a chance to make a point about deepfakes and the difficulty in knowing what's real and what's not, but decides to ignore that in favor of completely obliterating Superman's parents' film canonical good intentions.
Hey, thanks, Jeremy, for giving me an excuse to talk about this, because I have a lot of thoughts about this whole thing. I get why a lot of people would be upset about this movie changing Jor-El and Lara's intentions, since this is definitely a very far cry from anything we've seen in any other Superman movie or even in the comics, but I personally have absolutely no problem with this, and I also think it enhances the movie. That feeling of betrayal that you feel about this is also how Superman feels about it, and both him and we, the audience, need to come to terms with that. I've heard many people saying that Man of Steel fucked up Superman's adoptive father, while this movie fucked up his biological father, but I definitely disagree with that take and think it's a false equivalency. That movie was screwing with one of the most influential people in Clark's life, and thus changing a core concept of what made Superman Superman. Jor-El, on the other hand, doesn't really matter that much. Whatever his intentions with Clark were are basically completely irrelevant to who he is as a person. In fact, just like what Pa Kent said later in the movie, what Clark thought the second half meant, as well as just how betrayed he felt as a result, is so much more reflective of the kind of person he is. It doesn't matter what your parents intended for you as long as you grow up to make the right choices, and the Kents are far more relevant to how Superman turns out than his biological parents are. The message is real, and that's final. All of the people clutching at straws trying to justify otherwise need to learn to accept it just like Clark does, while also realizing that it doesn't really matter in the long run. The movie makes this idea very clear through both Clark's conversation with Pa Kent, as well as the whole ending scene where the robots put on footage of the Kents instead. Going back to Jeremy's suggestion, he's saying that they should have sidestepped all of that for the sake of going deepfakes bad.
We did it, Lex!
Premature
I wouldn't celebrate until the alien is off the board.
Oh, f you, Lex.
This sin is for the fact that a character addressed an issue that you had with the movie.
Can't say I'm surprised, Clevis.
Adding your Peacemaker to my Superman, hoping it's peanut butter and chocolate and not realizing it's cereal and orange juice.
I mean, I thought that this cameo was actually kind of fun. If you personally have some kind of a problem with it, then maybe try putting in any effort to try to explain what that problem actually is.
I'm coming in on my own accord.
Making it canon that Superman drives a Honda.
That joke was shit.
But also, why is he going through all the trouble to use automated monkeys to do all of his spamming? Wouldn't just using automated internet bots be way easier and much more cost-effective?
Jeremy once again underestimates the sheer amount of spite contained within Lex Luthor.
Let's try another question, Joey Superman.
Luthor, don't do it.
You spelled Lex's name wrong in the captions. It's Luthor with an O, not an E.
Mr. Terrific plays with his balls for all the sometime.
Rather than removing a sin for the badassery on display here, Jeremy instead opts to make the most basic joke possible.
I get my powers from the yellow sun.
Our sun is actually white. It just appears yellow due to other factors. It's a common misconception, but I'd still like to point out that Superman would be terrible at science sins.
The sheer amount of shitting on basic astronomy taking place here is only rival to that of George Lucas. Regardless of whatever color you think the sun is, it is still classified as a yellow star.
This place is filthy with black hole vortexes, and that anti-proton river will tear us apart in seconds.
Oh no, not pocket dimension black hole vortexes and anti-proton rivers. Those are some of the most dangerous things I've definitely heard of before this very second, and I am suitably tense about the possible outcomes.
That sounds like a you problem.
Last week, me, Ma, Hector, and them, we took a drive to Bierke's Burritos.
Skip.
Skipping this scene instead of removing 100 sins is worth its own 100 sins.
Entering the hole.
Penetration narration. Discount Bucky Barnes? Also, the movie wants it to be a shock that Lex created his own Superman, but I've seen enough of these movies to know that it has to end with some same versus same punching, so I knew where we were headed.
Also, the movie expected this to be a shock when pretty much every comic fan I knew already predicted this way before the movie came out, because they decided to call this guy Ultraman, which is already the name of an evil Superman variant in the comics. If they had given this guy literally any other name, then it wouldn't have been so obvious.
Your plans in Baravia won't work.
Oh, really? Why's that?
Because I called in some friends.
And I told him to wait until the invasion has been going on for a bit before showing up for maximum dramatic effect.
Or maybe they just needed some time to get there because they can't fucking teleport.
So my envy
is a calling, because it is what has driven me to annihilating you.
Nicholas fucking Hoult.
Yup.
Agent Smithing your Superman and not improving the CGI when it's 26 years later.
What the fuck are you talking about? The CGI looks fine. I mean, maybe it's not Avatar levels of photorealistic, but it's also not the fucking Flash. There's nothing actively jarring about it.
I'm as human as anyone.
He is not.
Tell me you completely missed the point of the movie without telling me you completely missed the point of the movie. Well, that only took me 15 takes to get right, but also, as much as I love this scene, the constant lens flares are extremely distracting.
We all owe him an enormous apology. He is, of course, the hero we always thought he was.
I guess I can buy that the media would turn on Lex this quickly, but I'm not buying that they would, in the same swift motion, embrace Superman again. I'm guessing at least some of the news stations would be bringing up the possibility that Superman and Lex are in on all this together.
Well, if that's what you want, then I'm sure Fox News has got you covered, which is a sentence that I have never said before and hope to never say again. Also, just a reminder that this was an actual screen grab from an actual news report that actual humans made, and millions of other humans voluntarily decided to watch.
Why does this edition of the Daily Planet say final edition? Are newspapers not a viable source of news anymore? Gasp!
Good to know that you didn't bother to do a single iota of research, because if you did, then you would know that this only refers to the final printing of the day. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, then why not leave a like, or subscribe, or leave your social security number in the comments down below. Also, just a side note that on Thanksgiving, I released a video about the movie Freebirds. It's technically still up, but it's blocked in many countries, including America, which is apparently where most of you guys live. If you want to be able to watch it, then my suggestion is to use a VPN. Speaking of which, this video is sponsored by never mind. I have no stake in any specific VPNs. Use whichever one you want. I will make a community post explaining the whole situation if anyone's curious, but otherwise, I plan on making at least 2 more videos before the new year, one of which will be a Christmas movie. So I hope you guys have a good rest of 2025, and bye!